Wakefield, and welcome to the November 22nd, 2021 Town Council meeting. I call this meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have all members of the council present tonight, Councilors Chine and Dombrowski on Zoom, and the remainder of us here in studio, so we will be doing roll call votes. I just ask Jonathan and Ed, if you want to talk, just raise like your physical hand, okay? I'm not sure I can see the little hand. Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Or just speak up. Sherry, do we have anybody for public engagement?
We have no one tonight, Julie.
Okay. Great. So this is our Thanksgiving meeting. We're going to focus on things we're thankful for. But we'll start with approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for approval of the November 8th, 2021 minutes?
So moved.
Second. So moved by Councilor Butts, seconded by Councilor Santos. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilor Chines.
Yes.
Councilor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Councilor Danahy.
Yes.
Vice Chair Butt.
Yes.
Councilor Santos?
Aye.
And myself, yes. Okay, so before we move on to project updates, so Anthony, I'm gonna just beg your patience a little bit. Because this is the Thanksgiving meeting, and we had a pretty big event in town this weekend, I just wanted to share with everyone the video that was done from the cleanup that was put together completely a grassroots effort by Mother at Woodville and some students at the high school, and the whole community came together this weekend. I think Ed may have been there, and Ed, maybe afterwards you can offer a few comments, but they put together a wonderful video that WCAT is going to help us show everyone. It is a little long, but I think it's worth it.
say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways eating up the night. Marconi plays the bamba. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember we built this city? We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Someone always playing corporation games. Who cares? They're always changing corporation names. We just want to dance here. Someone stole the stage. They call us irresponsible. Write us off the page. Marconi plays the mama. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember we built this city? We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. It took another Sunday in a tired old street. Police had got the chokehold. We just lost the beat. Who counts the money underneath the bar? Who rides the wrecking ball into our guitars? Tell us you need us. We're the super fools looking for America, crawling through your schools.
Looking out over that Golden Gate Bridge on another gorgeous sunny Saturday night. Seeing that lumber traffic.
I just wanted to share that. I mean, that's just one of many, many great things that are happening across town. It's been a tough year, but when you see, so that was Maggie Schaefer and was the mom, and Sophie Brown, who's a senior at the high school and a member of the Environmental Sustainability Committee, and they just saw a need, and they, Steve, I think they came to you and talked about it, and our DPW worked with them, and so it's just really great to see that. I don't know whether, I think Ed's coming back up, or Ed, or does anybody have anything to add about that? No?
I think it just.
Madam Chair, I can just say,
Yeah.
as the picture showed, it was a tremendously successful event. It really was, and it was great to see people of all ages. I was on the red team, so I had a lot of the third graders with me, but there were a lot of high schoolers, and everyone was just super committed. I guess a little trivia question: can anyone guess what the most common item was that I ended up picking up?
Nips.
Yeah.
Not nips.
No. Oh,
Samples.
Nope.
vapes? Vaping?
No, there were definitely some of that equipment, but not, or paraphernalia, but not too much.
So I would guess, based on the youth council cleanup and what we picked up, cigarette butts would be my guess.
I'd say
Well, there were
masks.
some, actually, Ann, you're right. It was
Oh,
disposable face masks were the number one littered item that I found, and actually, surprisingly, I don't know if you guys know, like those for like little kids, the applesauces that have little like twist tops, the
Yeah.
plastic twist tops. There were a lot of those plastic twist tops all around too.
Wow.
Who knew? But yeah, but masks, for me by far, I found more than anything else.
Interesting. And some campaign seems to be the graveyard of campaign signs too. And I should also say that the Boys and Girls Club did a wonderful cleanup the weekend before, and so this was really a continuation of that. So Anthony, thanks for everything you did as well. So okay, so I think unless anybody else has anything they want to add. We'll go to project updates and the lake boating concession. We just wanted to get an update from Anthony Guardia and the Boys and Girls Club on how your inaugural year went.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. I have some people in attendance virtually, so I just want to point them out. Adam Rogers, our CEO, Bob Malhoit, the president of Wakefield Main Streets, John Brinkman, our chief operating officer, Katie Cafferty, the development associate, and I think Amanda's here, who was actually the person who was there every day running the show. So she gets all the kudos for the slides you're going to see. And I might ask them to, Sherry, if it's okay, I might ask them to comment on some of the slides as we go.
Yeah, who would you like to, who will be speaking so I can just promote them?
Let's just promote Amanda, John, and Bob, and that'll be it.
Did you
Adam
say,
usually likes to talk, but he's told me his toddlers are in the room. So, and I can
okay.
definitely,
right.
definitely go with that.
Yeah, so you said Bob and John?
Bob, John, and Amanda.
I don't see Amanda on.
Oh, maybe did she? Maybe she. So just do John and Bob. I'm sorry. I thought she
Okay,
was.
no, yeah, that's okay. No problem.
But before I even begin, though, I do think it's fair to say thank you to the town council, not just for you guys do a lot, not just for the entire community, but specifically for the Boys and Girls Clubs. You've participated in our dodgeball event. We won't talk about it. Every one of you were at the Festival of Trees. It's just it's an amazing community, and it's great to have. I say this a lot. I say, you know, a community is reflected in the people they elect, right? And if we elected you, that speaks very highly of the character of this community. And I know we don't always agree on all policy, but to a person, you guys are just wonderful, wonderful people. So thank you for everything you do. So, all right, with that said, let's get to our first slide. There we go, some season highlights. So we were awarded the RFP on May 24th. We were able to open on June 26th. We closed on October 10th. We had 21 single kayaks, 8 double kayaks, 2 pedal boats. We had a 13-foot Boston Whaler safety boat. And I actually got the exact number from Amanda before I came on. And it was 2492 total boaters. So it was above 2,300. It was almost 2,500. With that said, we did want to show a little bit of the reviews. They came out really well. And I swear it was not just my mother going on and consistently updating the reviews. We had an incredible, we did a Groupon, we were on Google Reviews, Zillow, and I guess I did the Groupon one. Out of 34 reviews, we were 4.8 out of 5. And the only negative comment we got, which is something I know we all care about and we're all working on, is the quality of the water on the lake. We did get some complaints about that, and I know all of us care about that quite a bit. I know John and Amanda, I know Amanda's not here, but I know John wanted to mention a few things about the season highlights. John, did you want to just make a comment?
Yeah, absolutely. Madam Chair, fellow councilors, thank you so much for giving us a few seconds of time. I know if Amanda was here, she would want me to share just how well her staff team did. Almost all local Wakefield high school and college students and a supervisor who is a senior at Boston College right now. They did an incredible job, and I think you know, the feedback that I received from folks that participated in the program was how kind of not only helpful they were for the boating portions, but how response of the staff team at the lake were just at all times, and they were bright, shining faces. And I had someone that I know in the community send me a picture of them just helping to pick up trash kind of around the area. So during a little bit of downtime, they were always trying to do something just to better the environment there. So I know she'd want me to share that. And I know that the folks that I've spoken to that were down there really enjoyed the affordability of this program. I think that was a big thing that I know it was important to the council, was to provide this as a community asset. And I really think that the team down there and the way that we were able to structure it was able to do so. So we had a lot of families, especially as we got later in the season and more people found out about it, and we had many repeat customers. But it was great to see those families of 4 or 5 be able to come down with their younger kids or grandparents and be able to really enjoy the experience, and it not cost them an arm and a leg, which is important. So yeah, Anthony, that's what I wanted to share.
No, and that's actually a nice transition to the next slide, if that's okay. Which was the community impact, because this is what we thought set us apart from anybody else. But we did a lot to try to get people to downtown. So especially Main Streets, and I know Bob's going to speak when I'm done here, is Main Streets was really the engine that pushed this. They designed, they funded, they created 1,250 coupons to local vendors in downtown that we just simply gave to everybody who was a boater. We ended up passing out 1,250. We created, and this is Katie Cafferty, who's here. This was all her, so please credit to her. Her and Main Streets created this sign that basically went to a website that just a link tree that automatically updated every single local restaurant's menu in real time. So if you were done with boating and you wanted to see what was going on or wanted to go somewhere to eat, you could just go on that. You could click the sign on your camera and you would be able to go there. We awarded passes through the Wakefield Library for their summer reading program. And again, thank you to Amanda for giving me the exact number. It was 65 summer reading hours that we awarded. We provided Wakefield teenagers with over 1,000 hours worth of work, and they were unbelievable. They were great. Everything from checking in to even when we had some dead time cleaning up around the lake. They were wonderful, wonderful kids. Wakefield should be very proud, as reflected in that video. We also noticed as this was growing, some of the commercial spaces around the lake were offering it as an amenity, as a reason why you should bring your business to Wakefield. So I added that. I thought that was very interesting and very cool. It was none of us had planned it. It was just something that popped up on our Facebook, and it's a Google alert. And then we basically worked with a variety of groups for fundraising, basically Kayak for a Cause. The total number of people who kayaked for a cause was 148. The groups that we worked with are listed there, but I'll just say Boston Marathon, Miles for Miracles, the Cub Scouts, the Galvin PTO, the Girl Scouts, the Greenwood PTO, Jake Barden, who is just a wonderful, wonderful kid, who is working on breast cancer, the Stoneham Coalition, all the Stoneham PTOs did a one day, and the West Side Social Club. And I know there were more that wanted to get involved. Unfortunately, we live in New England, so the season can't last forever. And then Bob, I know you want to make a few comments about how we use this to push downtown. I'll throw it over to you. You're muted. He's telling everybody how handsome I am.
Well, obviously, Anthony, that's the first line out of all of our mouths. No, I just want to make a quick correction too, and it was great to work with the Boys and Girls Club on a project like this. It really is a community project, and it went way beyond our expectations. One correction though, we actually passed out 1,250 packets of coupons.
Oh, true.
So the packets were anywhere between 4 to 8 coupons per packet. So you're really looking at between 6,000 and 7,500 coupons to local merchants, or downtown merchants, I should say. So I think that, obviously it was sprung on us pretty quick, and I think, it all worked well. I mean, Amanda was just amazing down there, and I echo Anthony's statements on that, on her and the staff down there. But we got a lot of traction from the QR code as well. So it's a start of something big. I think next year, we're going to work this summer with Katie, or excuse me, this winter with Katie and Anthony and Amanda in the Main Street group to, to tweak it, to make sure that we are getting more coupons out there, whether it's digitally or paper coupons or whatever we feel, works best, and really attack it maybe even before boating opens next year. So the other good thing I'll add is, we identified 34 retail businesses, and by retail we mean, hairdressers, salons, walk-ins, restaurants, all that stuff that are downtown within the downtown district, and 60% of them got involved with the program, which I think is for a first time, and we didn't really have a lot of time to get it up and running. To have 60% of the businesses down there get involved and get coupons out there, I think it's a big win, and I think next year we're looking forward to having even more. Thank you, Anthony.
No, thank you, Bob. And I think that's a point not to be missed. And this is credit, again, to Amanda and her team, literally getting everything in order real quick, and Main Streets and their team turning everything around. And I think there's one more slide, which is, we did want to say thank you to a bunch of groups who did help us out. Obviously, Wakefield Main Streets, but the WCNA, the Friends of Lake Quantapowhat, and the Quantapowhat Yacht Club. All the groups were instrumental in making this year a success, whether it was advice, suggestions, comments, different thoughts. We just wanted to make sure that they got the credit they deserved. So I'll open it up to questions. I might defer some answers to people who are more equipped or better equipped to answer them, but I'd be happy to take any comments or thoughts or whatever feedback the council would provide.
Great, thank you. That was a great overview. Any questions? Jonathan?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say, to Anthony and Bob and the Boys and Girls Club and Main Street's team, just congratulations on what really has been an extraordinary season. I think when we, first talked on the council about, opening up a bidding process for the lake concession, and when you guys, stepped forward and put your proposal out, I think we were all impressed at the beginning, but just to see how it came together and see, how you guys really just hit it out of the park this summer, I couldn't be more impressed. The site itself looked better than it has in years past. I mean, you could tell that, you guys really took the care to take care of that area and to clean up. Feedback that I heard from residents who participated and rented boats was extraordinary. And, just to hear now about the economic development engine that you created is really impressive. So I just want to say thank you very much. I'm so excited at how this worked out, and really looking forward to see what we're able to do next year.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Ann?
Yes, I want to say congratulations as well. I mean, this was really successful. I talked to some people who had used it as well, and it was such a great experience. What I really like is the community engagement, and my favorite part of it was your connection with the summer reading program. I think that anything that we can do to encourage our young people to read is wonderful, and so that's fantastic. And I love seeing all the different organizations that got involved in this. So I do have one question, do we have, I know how many coupons were distributed. Do we know how many were redeemed?
I don't, but I'll defer to Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a great question. And, we are in the process of gathering more information.
Mm-hmm.
September, October, it's a very busy time for the small businesses. So we've had a little difficult time getting in touch with some of them. So obviously this is kind of their make or break quarter, right? So we're trying to stay out of their way, but
Yep.
I know that from talking to some of them, you're just, putting some round numbers up there. We're probably in that, 5 to 7% of the coupons got redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping it's higher, but honestly, with, nationwide with paper coupons,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably like a 3 or 4% turn-in rate. So we're ahead of it. But again, I don't have exact numbers for you. But we're going to continue to work on that and get try to get exact numbers.
No, that's
but
great. It's impressive.
in our mind,
it's impressive how many you distributed. Do you think that you can do it paperless next year, maybe?
Well, that's one of the things. I'm sorry, Anthony. Do you want me to answer?
I mean, I can. It's up to you. But it's
Okay.
So Bob always knows my
I
position in this. So I'm anti-pay. I'm anti-pay for everything. I use Venmo. I never carry cash. I think at the end, it will probably be going to digital coupons for all of it. What I will say is, and Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, some vendors did say they liked the paper coupons because they thought people would hang on to them and it would just be a gentle reminder for them to go into the business. With that said, though, I would defer to like the expertise of, Erin, Jen, Bob. Like you guys know much better than I would on what's the best way to drive business. But
If I could add
I'm a
one thing.
paperless guy.
If I could add one thing, that is actually the first thing that we talked about in our meeting, was if there was a way to make, to go paperless on it, because I think digital coupons have a higher return rate, not to mention the green factor. But, we're gonna see what the best way is to get those things out there. Obviously, we want people to have them. I've also reached out to the Main Streets of America National to see if they've had an experience with digital coupons and the best way to get those out to the voters. Because like Anthony said, we don't want them leaving without it. So whether that's a scan of the ticket or we really haven't got that far into it, but it's definitely on our radar.
I bet you can track the redemption easier too.
Well, much
Absolutely.
easier. Yeah, much easier, yeah.
And
So it's on our radar, and we're hoping to get something worked out before the next, before we get approved for the next voting year.
And while I have you, I do want to make a quick comment because I think Adam would get upset if I didn't. Credit for the library reading idea totally belongs to Adam Rogers. He was on as some of you may know, he's also a trustee at the library, and this was big on his radar, and he pushed for it right away. And the library was huge in wanting to do it as well. So, so credit to him.
That was excellent. And I just had one other question was, do we have any idea how many people came in from outside of Wakefield to use the boating services?
Oh, that's a good question. John, do we know? I don't.
It's something that we could definitely track. I don't know off the top of my head,
Okay.
But the folks did have to fill out a registration form that if, in their payer information, that might have been included as well. So I think it's something that if we didn't track in year one, we can definitely track moving forward.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, so just one quick thing. I will say all the Groupons were from, again, there's 42 Groupons that were used. Let me double check that number. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, so there were 42 Groupons that were used, and all of those were not from Wakefield.
Yeah.
And those weren't available right away either. That was kind of a mid-season thing, so.
Okay.
Cool.
Great. Councilor Santos?
Anthony and
Oh, no.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
one of the things that, after we had the initial bids and talked to you folks and got comfortable that you could absolutely do this, that folks would be safe, one of the biggest pluses for me wasn't necessarily the dollar and cents. It just didn't come down to who could make the most money, but in the human capital aspect of it, the fact that you have high school seniors, high school students, and Wakefield College students, 1,000 hours of work. For me, it was, you're not just employing Wakefield students, but you're teaching them something. They're just such a bright, someone said, the bright, shiny faces. Our beautiful children were taking part in this. And I think that, to me, is as important as, frankly, how many coupons were redeemed. The fact that this was really a full community event, not only for the folks that went on the boats, but that who you had help you. So I could not be more thrilled that you were so successful, and look forward to more success in the coming years.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. Councilor Brett?
Yeah, to echo on what Ann said, I think having Wakefield students and young people working was just such a great benefit. I also, I know there's a little bit of delay as you guys got the boats, and so in the future that won't happen, and hopefully this will be on the agenda earlier so we can get boats in the water as soon as it's safe. And on safety, I know that was one of the questions we had asked you about, and I do want to credit Amanda. I'm sorry she wasn't here to join us, but I following the Boys and Girls Club on social media, just the days where it wasn't safe to go out on the water, including the day of the highway situation when we were asking everyone to stay home. I think I found out it was one of the first things I kind of saw, and I really appreciate you kind of educating the town of, it's not safe, stay home. And so I just wanted to remind everyone that you did that. There were a couple of days where it wasn't safe to go out on the water, and that was one of the questions of, do you guys have that experience? And you made the call when it wasn't, when we had, I can't remember if it was microburst this year or what it was.
We had
but
a lot
we
of
had
rainy days, yeah.
We had 2 pretty bad storms, and I remember it was on weekends where you just said that boating was closed for the day. So I appreciate that.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Ed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for this presentation, Anthony and Bob. Question for you, Anthony. I know that when you presented back in the spring, you had mentioned about the water testing that would be done, and then you just had commented tonight about the that being one criticism, the quality of the lake water. Can you explain to us a bit what kind of water testing happened this season and where those results landed and where they'll bring us?
No, absolutely. So we had talked about doing water testing with the Friends of Lake Quannapowitt. So if you look at the history of water testing in Wakefield, it started as a high school project in the biology. So we unfortunately were not able to do water testing with FOLQ this season in the summer. But when we talked to Karen and the, oh my God, what's his name? This is going to kill me. But when we talked to the Friends of Lake Quannapowitt, they mentioned bringing it up into one of our fall programs that we would go back and do the water testing again. What they did stress to us, and I would be clear about this, is that this water testing, it probably would not be some sort of community wide effort to the sense, sorry, did my camera just go out? Would not be something that could be used scientifically to say, this is how much of chemical X needs to be removed from the water, or how much of chemical Y has to be inserted into the water. But it would mostly be for safety standards for water on that day. So it is one of the projects that us and FOLQ wanted to do. Unfortunately, there's a few different issues between COVID and the high school labs and just getting the volunteers to help lead that project that put it on hold. John,
What's that?
oh, sorry, I didn't know. Sorry, I thought John had raised his hand.
No. Ed, did you have any follow-up?
I don't, Madam Chair, thanks.
Okay.
But just before you let them go, whenever you're ready to let them go, I just wanted to give a little preview of dodgeball. But it's
Yeah, we can talk. So I think the same thing everybody else here. It was a great summer, but we have to have our little dodgeballs. So you have your posters, Ed? Ed made these great posters. So we played dodgeball to benefit Boys and Girls Club last weekend, 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
Showing up is most of the battle, and we were all there. Not a single Stoneham Select Board member was there, so perhaps we didn't win necessarily, but we showed up.
We also did not sacrifice any of our children as human shields, which I thought was an interesting tactic that Stoneham did. I feel proud that we did not put children in front of us to block the balls. And I will give Anne huge credit because she was out there for like the 17 rounds of dodgeball that we had, and I was coming off of an injury, so I was just standing with the AAA rating, people, AAA rating. But
Ed made these great signs.
It was fabulous. Yes, Ed made some great signs. So it was a lot of fun, but I'm definitely looking for cornhole next year.
One quick comment, and Steve, I know you appreciate your bosses, but to be clear, not a single Stoneham Select Board showed up, and they called me the day before. It was like that night, like all 5 dropped within like 12 hours of each other. But the town administrator still had to be there.
Anthony.
Dennis Sheehan showed up by himself without the support of his board and took a beating. And I said, you know what? The Wakefield Town Council will never do that to Steve Mayo.
No.
It's a rookie mistake for my poor friend Dennis.
He actually played well, by the way. Just there is an aggressive streak over in Stoneham. There was even a point where we asked everybody to say nice things, and Dennis was just all about the fight. So, no, thanks. In all seriousness, thank you. And what I said earlier echoes true. We have a great council and great leadership in this town, and we're lucky to live in it. So.
And also, just before we leave, kudos to Dan McGrath as well from Wakefield Rec. Dan, you know, he's always one call away. He's super easy for us to deal with, and whenever we had questions that popped up, his response rate was outrageously fast. So, so I think, you know, I know Dan was part of this as well. So I just want to thank him for all his work.
Yeah, definitely.
Well said.
Well, we are very lucky to have you as part of this town too. You are an
Yes.
important part of this community, and I know I speak for everyone, it's our pleasure to support you. And you're always there for us as well, so thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Ed?
Wait.
Madam Chair, if I could, I just wanted to mention that, so tomorrow night, Stoneham has their select board meeting, and I've been working with Anthony to make sure that we, you know, congratulate our colleagues in their community. So I've been working on a couple things, and anyone is welcome if they want to join me in taunt and praise tomorrow night with the select board. But I did just want to, you mentioned this, I want to show the picture. So this is the picture of Wakefield in all of its glory. This is all 6 counselors. And fortunately, we did get a picture of the Stoneham Select Board as well. So that's I mean, they're not smiling in the same way that we are. But,
No, a little ghostly.
yeah, I've got some other material, but I don't want to give them a heads up on it before tomorrow night. Suffice it to say, there'll be a good ribbing happening, and anyone, of course, is welcome to it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you all.
great. Thank you so much. All right, have a happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Thank you, and to you as
Thank
well.
you.
All right, we're gonna go to the next Anthony. Anthony Cho, our, Director of Health. Hello, Anthony. So this is on the agenda. We really just wanted to give an update on COVID, particularly as we're going into the holiday season. So Anthony, I'm gonna let you take the lead.
Great, thank you. So as we move into the holiday season here, we're in decent shape. We've had definitely some increases in vaccination rates for most of our age groups here. A lot of the age groups have seen a slight increase in at least getting 1 dose, and currently we're at the 74% mark for 12 to 15-year-old fully vaccinated. We're 85% for 16 and 19. We're still lagging a little bit behind in the 20 to 29 age group at 68%, but we're over 80% in all the age groups afterwards. And so Wakefield is in incredibly good shape right now in terms of vaccinations. We are doing our part to get the word out there, make sure all the information is out there for everyone to understand the vaccine is the safest option for them, which for most people it is. Currently, our cases have been going up slightly. We've been seeing approximately 9 cases average per day most recently. And so this is a little bit of a worrying trend, but it's not unexpected. As we move indoors and more of our activities are kind of in close quarters, we've been seeing a little bit higher transmission. We've been seeing it a little bit in the schools as well. And so one of the things I wanted to stress is, with a higher positivity rate as well, I think we're at 4.1% right now positivity, which is higher than the last couple of weeks. One of the things I want to stress is moving into the Thanksgiving break and as well as other holidays coming up. Please make sure to get tested if you have any inkling that you might be positive. This will really help protect your family, your friends, anybody you're hanging out with during these holidays. This is just safe practice for as well as the workplace as well. What really, one of the things that we really wanted to stress was getting those that don't have their first doses, their first shots is definitely one of the most important ways for us to move through this pandemic. As you guys know, we had a very, very successful clinic this past week, and this addresses one of the biggest age groups that are obviously not vaccinated fully yet, and that's the 5 to 11 group. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who came. Maureen Butt was there. Jonathan Chines, thank you for coming, as well as Julie Smith Galvin and Steve Mayo. I didn't leave anybody off the list, did I? I don't think so. We got everybody, but yeah, thank you all for volunteering during this clinic. We held it at the Galvin Middle School. That was the first dose of the 5 to 11 pediatric COVID vaccine. And so this is, this is gonna be a big step towards addressing a lot of the spread in schools as well as out of school contacts. We've been, our school nurses have been working very diligently to keep, as many students in school as possible, the test and stay program. And so this will only help drive the numbers down further. And so, as we do our part here in the city as well as in the schools, I think we'll be in really good shape.
Great. Thank you. Any questions or comments from counselors? Go ahead.
So, Anthony, I sent you an email over the weekend too. I just want to let everyone know that clinic was the first one I volunteered at. It was so well done. Thank you, Steve, to you and the team, everyone, from all the volunteers to the nurses and physicians who were giving out shots. I forgot that age group we would have a lot of tears. And I was not mentally prepared for those tears. I will be next time. It was hard to hear children cry and not get really sad, but they knew they were doing the right thing. I don't know if you have the number of total children who came through. I know we had 400 registered, which is amazing, and we'll do it again on December 11th, and so hopefully even more will come. I do want to say I heard a little bit that some parents of that age group are a little hesitant, and I'm going to ask you, Anthony, if we can maybe work with WCAT and maybe do some videos of pediatricians or pediatrician nurses, trusted authorities, kind of explaining that it's safe and that, the sooner everyone gets those shots, at all age groups too, that 20 to 29 age group too, the sooner these masks go away. So I know there's a lot of misinformation there. I think whatever we can do to kind of promote the true information would be really appreciated. But I did want to say it was a great event. I'm really glad we were able to do it in Wakefield.
Absolutely.
But that was, I think if we can just think a little bit about the communications to messaging, to that thought of the first shot, that those people who have been resistant thus far in all kind of age groups, I'd love to work on something like that. But yeah.
Great. Councilor
Absolutely,
Chines?
thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to go over some of the numbers. So thank you for reminding me. We did actually reach 515 individuals. This was, mostly, a very vast majority were Melrose Wakefield residents. Wakefield, I think, had the edge a little bit in terms of getting their children vaccinated, but it was a great effort all around. Our department really, pulled together all of our resources, and it was a huge help in volunteers as well. That's really how it became possible. I really like the idea of the messaging and some of the, getting some of the authorities involved in terms of having people trust the science behind it. And for a lot of parents, I believe that this is kind of a difficult decision because they're looking for others to kind of take the first step. And now that we have a large group that has done that for us, the wait and see approach is one way, but the longer you stay unvaccinated, the higher the chance of actually getting it. So we will be working closely with WCAT to create materials that will help us get this out there.
Councilor Chines?
Well, thank you, and thank you, Anthony, for your work and for everything you've done, including the clinic this weekend. I as a parent of young children, I may be more used to and was more expecting of some of the tears than Councilor Butt was. But I do want to say, just the compassion and the gentleness of the nurses who are giving the vaccinations, and really want to give a shout out to, Officer Tobine and Officer O'Connell from the Wakefield Police Department who were there with Sammy, our therapy dog, they just were incredibly gentle and caring with all the kids that were having trouble and some of the grown-ups that were having trouble too. It was wonderful to have them there and great to see them, be part of the event. I also want to highlight there were a couple of members of our youth council who were there actually in costume as a dog and a cat who were a big hit as well. And so just really a great community effort. And the fact that, simultaneously we had so many people outside doing a community cleanup and so many people inside helping out with the vaccine clinic, I think is just a great testament to Wakefield. I did have a question I wanted to ask just in relation to the uptick of cases that we've seen. Have we seen any specific trends and patterns in that uptick that we should be worried about? Are there large events that are generating cases? Are there clusters in certain places, or is it just, kind of the community spread that we unfortunately probably would expect to see just as the weather gets colder and people are indoors more?
Yeah, absolutely. So, general community spread has been kind of the main driver. Some of the other ones have been the sporting events, definitely getting large groups of people from different areas, with varying testing results. I think that has also helped drive some of the cases going up. But as long as we stay vigilant, we will be promoting the booster as soon as possible. And I think that some of the timing for those that got the shots originally, this is around the 6 months when it's recommended now that to get the booster. And so we'll be trying to bring that to Wakefield as soon as possible and make that available for everybody. And once we're able to do that, I think that'll help shore up some of the breakthrough cases that we're seeing.
Okay. Based on that, are there any sort of policy actions that we should be looking at in terms of, limitations on group gatherings or, additional precautions we should be taking in town buildings? Anything that we're not doing that we should be looking at from your perspective?
Sure, yeah. And so one of the things that has been in discussions has been the lifting of the mask mandate. And so, just like everybody else, I would love to see the masks go at some point. I'm very tired of wearing them. But, as part of this effort to kind of get everybody the booster shot and get people the first shot that they need or complete the series, I think the masks are one very simple way of keeping this down during the winter. And so even though we may be getting close to that 80%, both in the schools as well as the community actually, in terms of vaccination, there's still a whole lot of variance between different groups. And so if we can just kind of ride this out in terms of wearing the masks, and maybe at least through Christmas, moving into the new year, making sure that groups such as the 5 to 11-year-olds who are, going to be approaching 50% at least before Christmas, maybe, in terms of fully vaccinated, just under 50, I believe. But if we can kind of hold out and wait for these groups to kind of even out in terms of vaccination rate, then that can really help protect us moving forward.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great. Councilor Danahy?
Thank you, Anthony, for that. That was really helpful. You had mentioned the importance of testing. Can you just share with us where people can get tested and how they can get tested?
Sure, definitely. So our local pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens, they all offer, lots of different tests. I would say the PCR, as we've been talking about since the beginning, has been the gold standard. They also offer the rapid PCR now, I believe, at CVS, and most urgent cares, I believe, do offer them as well. But that is, another option. They have a quick turnaround time. They are also pretty accurate as well. And so we've been asking individuals to do that. The at-home test is not a bad idea to have on hand, but definitely if you are to do that and you get tested positive or negative and still have any kind of suspicions, you may want to get the PCR just to verify. And so our contact tracers, depending on the case, they have certain protocols for quarantine and isolation. And so it's always good to, once you get tested, to refer to those resources for following the correct protocol.
Great, thank you.
Great. Councilor Dombrowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Anthony, for this. I guess one thing I wanted to mention too is the Square One Mall continues to have that drive-up testing, and the results have been coming through pretty quickly as well. In my experience, there's been almost no wait, and they have pretty good hours. I believe it's 2 o'clock until 7 o'clock, several days a week. I know it's not on Sundays, but most of the week, and I believe on Saturdays as well. Anthony, one question for you. I know you said that we're at a 4.1% positivity rate. From what I've been following, it seems like a lot of the increase in cases has been in very young children. And it seems like that's a statewide trend, but also a nationwide trend, that although we have an uptick, I'll call it the numbers might be going up, but the severity is not necessarily, the same as it would be in prior, upticks. Is that consistent with what you've been following and seeing too?
Yes. So for the most part, we have been seeing a lot more breakthrough cases as well in those populations, in the older populations. But with the vaccine, it does decrease severity, and so we haven't been seeing as many hospitalizations. As the increase in positivity rate could also be because of just higher testing rates as well. And so people are making sure that they're tested, they're making sure they're going into the holiday season, with that knowledge. And so having that is an important piece to understand. And because the group that you're referring to is the younger group that generally isn't vaccinated, by the virus kind of adapting to its environment, which is us, it's actually obviously favoring those groups that are less protected, and so we are going to be seeing them to be a little bit more adept at infecting older individuals. And so that's kind of the important part. We've kind of forced it a little bit out of the older age range, and now really our most vulnerable are those younger age groups. And so the more we can do to get them vaccinated, it's definitely a great tool.
And are we able to break down the 4.1% by age? Do we have that kind of ability?
I don't currently have that data on hand, but that is something that we can look into, and I think that would be useful information to know which age groups are getting tested the most often, and so this could be a representation of which groups are actually being represented in the testing rates.
It just feels like we have to keep everything in context. Although this number seems higher, again, if it's younger children who are experiencing mild to no symptoms, that's very different than 4.1% if the majority is, elderly population that is hospitalized and the like. So there's a lot of moving parts. So I just don't want people to be, freaked out by the fact that there is this increase. I think you have to kind of peel back and understand, what makes up the numbers and what that means in terms of severity or impact on people's health. Thank you.
And like you said, it's definitely a good thing to keep in mind. We're not really sounding the alarm too much right now, just because there has been an increase, but hospitalizations has stayed pretty level, and so I think we're in a good spot right now.
Thank you.
Did you want to follow up, Councilor Chines?
Just one comment I wanted to make. I think while all of that is true, and I'm kind of bringing in just knowledge from my professional life working in healthcare, I will say the individuals who are being hospitalized who are not vaccinated are experiencing much more significant symptoms, and so I want to make sure as a community we don't send the message that we don't want people to be unduly alarmed, but at the same time, the importance of getting vaccinated, particularly for the 20 to 29-year-olds, really can't be overstated. Those are the folks that when they are hitting the hospital are hitting with pretty severe symptoms, and fortunately it's not as many of them as there were earlier in the pandemic before we had the vaccines, but again, just underscores the messaging. And I know Anthony, you and in cooperation with the rest of the town administration have been doing a great job of getting this message out. It just underscores the importance of getting vaccinated if you're not vaccinated already.
Right. Good. Anybody else?
Can I say one thing? I thought the clinic was great. You did a great job, Anthony, you and your team. There was a story about one of the young kids that really was having a hard time getting a shot, and one of the nurses that was doing it actually was a nurse that had experience at Children's, and she was around the table and gave that young kid a shot before he even knew it was in. No, it's all done. It's all done. So I think it was really a testament to you guys really doing that together. Kelly Cobine and Sammy the
they were
dog,
wonderful.
fabulous, fabulous. Got a lot of comments on that, and I'm so happy to be at the checkout point than the check-in point where I were on the other clinics, which was not the happy place, so thank you for putting me at the end there, Anthony. People were all happy when they came through. So, great job by you and your team.
I was ushering the kids in. Very, we would stop and see Sammy the dog, and Officer Mike would say hi. We had all these stops. It was, and I think it was a great way to showcase the Galvin Middle School. You know, a lot of these kids are in elementary school, and they had never seen the middle school, and they were. I think there was a good sense of excitement there as well.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, when that school was set up, it was designed to have that community involvement, and it really
we don't use that library space that often for community.
Nicely. It worked very well.
It was great, I thought.
And can I just add, just speaking, it was mostly children from Melrose and Wakefield, but to see the families coming in and the diversity of the families, and you saw these little kids who were so used to being the translators for their parents and kind of calming down their parents of, this is how you spell my name, but you can call me this. It was really cute to see as I was doing getting the information in the computer and the database. But I just, you know, it was a proud moment. We asked everyone, are you Wakefield or Melrose? And it was about 50-50 that I was seeing. Mayor Broder was coming around and recognizing people as well. But just, you know, the sense of relief for the parents was really great. Everyone saying, you know, these are the final two, or there's one more at home. And so it was nice to be able to be a part of that. And from that age group, from what I hear, and Councillor Chines can probably tell real life experience, but the side effects aren't bad for that. There's like no side effects, rare, right, for that age group.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, just speaking for my sample of 3 under 12, they each had a little bit of soreness in their arm, but otherwise were fine. So they really were able to tolerate well. The dosage obviously for the younger kids is a lot less than it is for grown-ups, and so. Again, my little sample size of 3 did great with dose number 1.
Yep. And we will continue to do the biweekly COVID updates. And I'm coming back to you. We just had one last week, so not this week.
Yeah, we'll take Friday off after Thanksgiving. Yep.
But for people who are just curious, those are great. They're fairly brief, but we have Anthony's on there, the school department's on there to give that perspective. Our Board of Health members. I think that those are really important to continue. Ed, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to make sure that we have clean minutes from this meeting. I wrote down from Anthony that he said that Wakefield had the edge over Melrose, so Councilor Butt has got 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Anthony because we can't have another loss.
All right.
Okay, I think we have one competitive counselor.
I think we should also point out that I was actually working at the clinic, unlike the head of Melrose, correct?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, great. Any last minute thoughts, anybody? No? Thank you, Anthony, for being here. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7, license requests. We'll go through these like we did last time. I will list them off. We'll do motion and any discussion. So, item number 7A, 2022 common vicular license renewals, and we have Bellino's Ben 123, DBA Bamboo House, Blue Moon Grill, Cafe Italia, Dino Brick Oven Pizzeria, Las Chivas, which is tequilas, Lisa's Family Pizzeria, Mass Mini Mark or Quick Stop, Meltharb Ice Cream, Next Dine, 100 Quannapowitt Parkway, Nick's Pizza, Roast Beef and Subs, Red Sugar Cafe, Sabatino's, Sheraton, and Soninoto's Restaurant. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Okay, moved by Vice Chair Butt, seconded by Councilor Santos. Any discussion on the common vicular licenses for 2022? Councilor Dombrowski.
My only quick question, Madam Chair, through you to Mr. Mayo, for all of these, I'll just ask at once. Any issues, any concerns or complaints about anything we're looking at tonight?
None. All good.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Good question. Okay, so we have a motion. Any additional discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Councilor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Councilor Chines.
Yes.
Councilor Danahy.
Yes.
Councilor Butt.
Yes.
Councilor Santos.
Aye.
Myself, yes. Okay. All of those pass, 6-0. B, 2022 entertainment licenses to include Bellino's, Ben 123 Bamboo House, Cafe Italia, Las Chivas Tequilas, Pit Stop Barbecue, Sabatino's, and Sheraton. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Discussion on these? Hearing none, roll call vote. Counselor Dombrowski?
Aye.
Counselor Shines?
Yes.
Counselor Danahy?
Yes.
Counselor Butt?
Yes.
Counselor Santos?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay. We have one for the 2022 lodging, and that is Sheraton. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Discussion? No? Counselor Dombrowski?
Aye.
Counselor Chines?
Yes.
Counselor Danahy?
Yes.
Counselor Butt?
Yes.
Counselor Santos?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Fortune teller, 2022 fortune teller licenses, Mama Fia Tarot. Tarot? Yes. Motion?
So moved.
The answer is?
Nobody wants a second until we get it. Steve's commentary. Any discussion, Steve?
No, none. Why bother?
All right. Counselor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Counselor Chines.
This one's my favorite vote to do every year, yes.
You got to do it twice this year because we had one last meeting too. Counselor Danahy.
Yes.
Counselor Butt.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. Automated devices. We have one for the West Side Social Club. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
So moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Discussion on this? No? Counselor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Counselor Chines.
Yes.
Counselor Danahy.
Yes.
Counselor Butt.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
And myself, yes. This is class 1, this is auto, right?
Yes.
Auto licenses renewal. Class 1, remind me, class 1 is new cars?
Yes.
Okay. And this is for EMS Direct LLC.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Any discussion? Hearing none. Counselor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Counselor Chines.
Yes.
Counselor Danahy.
Yes.
Counselor Butt.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Myself, yes. All right, 6-0. Finally, we have Class 2 auto license renewals for Auto Annex, Broadway Auto Brokers, EMS Direct LLC, Platinum Car Center, and Reynolds Auto Sales. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Any discussion? No? Counselor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Counselor Chines.
Yes.
Counselor Danahy.
Yes.
Counselor Butt.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. So that does it for licenses, at least for tonight. We must be getting pretty well through them, though.
Yeah, there might be a
Yeah.
few more on the 6th, but
Okay.
pretty good.
Great.
Yep.
We do have 2 requests for one-day liquor licenses. The first one being a request from Laura Marie Small of Kidcasso Studio for a one-day liquor license for a small business shopping event on December 4th, 2021, from 5:30 to 8:30.
So moved.
Second?
So moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Discussion? Steve, you want any
Yeah, I
background on
think
this?
that, yeah, Laura Marie may be on if we need her as well, I believe.
Okay.
But this is one of our greatest business women, people in town. Does a wonderful business, and she's trying to do a little thing in her little neighborhood there on newly refurbished Albion Street, which is really going to look great when it's all done. And kind of having a little shopping thing and have a little wine and cheese for parents while they come in one part of her building and other part of the building, you know, with some kids' activities and stuff, if I'm not misunderstanding. But certainly a fabulous person and does a great job. So
Absolutely.
I heartedly recommend it.
Yep, great. Any additional discussion? All right, let's do a vote. Counselor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Counselor Chines.
Yes.
Counselor Danahy.
Yes.
Counselor Butt.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, so good. Good luck to her on that. And finally, we have a request from Jack Warchall for a one-day liquor license for a reception at the Albion Cultural Exchange Building on December 8th, 2021, from 4 to 7 p.m. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
So moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Steve, you want to give any
Yeah,
background
this
on
is
this?
a retirement party
Okay.
for a believe, a lake commissioner. Great venue to use it, and again, that used to be the MLD office building.
Right, right.
Before it is transformed, and it's certainly worth going in and taking a look at that wonderful building, so. Like, if there are items at the Heritage Room in the Civic Center, because it's a town building, we would have to give them a one day.
Of course. I'm
Okay,
glad
that's
to
why.
see it
Yeah.
being used.
Yeah, I think it's a
it
great,
does look really
great
nice.
place to use, yeah.
Ed, do you have some comment?
I would just add, Madam Chair, that I really think that this is a great opportunity for us going forward to try to take advantage of this in this kind of capacity, to have these kind of private events and renting out this space, because the space has really come along nicely. And I think it would just be, a nice complement to what we do in the Heritage Room already. But a totally different vibe.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Councilor Chines?
I just wanted to mention briefly, just from my stint as our liaison to the ACE Commission, this has been something they've been working on actually, to come up with a policy to use the space, really modeled after what we do with the Heritage Room. So I think this might be our first private event at Albion Cultural Exchange, which is wonderful. I think folks have probably seen sort of the release we put out this week talking about the renovations there. The building looks fantastic. It really is night and day from where it was a couple of years ago, and so wholeheartedly agree that I hope this is the first of many events that we see in that space. It's definitely a great venue for something like this.
Yeah, just to add, I agree, it's a great venue. The construction and the funding that we've gotten earmarked for it have been great. When Councillor Smith-Galvin and I went to look at the Square exhibit last month, something mentioned is that it's not, there's no janitorial services applied to ACE, and so when they have their events, the ACE committee cleans up.
Well, in this case, they'll bring up they clean up their events, yes.
So I think we just have to be really clear that it's a little different than at the Heritage Room, or renting the Galvin Auditorium or something where there is janitorial services. So I think just to be clear that that's the expectation when you do rent it, that you bring in, bring out. I think we just have to be explicit, or it becomes part of one of the town buildings and like the other town buildings. So just wanted to mention that.
In this case, they know they need to bring it in and bring it out.
Perfect, yeah. So I guess in the future, we can think about,
how we do that.
Does it become like the Civic Center, or is it treated a little differently?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, we'll take a vote. Councilor Dombrowski?
Aye.
Councilor Chines?
Yes.
Councilor Danahy?
Yes.
Councilor Butt?
Yes.
Councilor Santos?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. Item number 8, announcements. There's a lot going on. I feel like there's something almost every day in the first 2 weeks of December. So who wants to start? No? Okay, Councilor Chines, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to quickly highlight a couple of things that are coming up as we're kind of transitioning from Thanksgiving into the holiday season. The annual menorah lighting from North Shore Shabbat is this Sunday at 4:30 at the Common. Always a great event. I think hopefully we'll have good weather for that, but hopefully folks can attend that. The Hartshorn House will also be doing their Christmas open house. That's coming up actually a week from this Saturday, the 4th. From 2 to 4. And then just finally wanted to say, since it is Thanksgiving week, and, we talked about one of the things we were thankful for with the cleanup in Wakefield, I did just want to say, just first of all, how grateful I am for my colleagues on the council, and Mr. Mayo and Mr. Mullen and Ms. Dalton for, just the team that we have, and really just express thanks to everyone in town who volunteers for an event or on a board or committee. I mean, we are a community that really runs on the basis of people power. We really rely on people to step up and, volunteer for these events and volunteer for these positions. So just wanted to express gratitude to everyone who gives their time and treasure for things like that, and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Anybody else? Vice Chair Butt, I know you have something.
I do. So just a couple of announcements and just another thank you, but I think it was since our last meeting, the Veterans Day ceremony at the Galvin Middle School. It was a great event thrown out by the Veterans Committee, and I just wanted to thank everyone and thank the organizers. It was a moving ceremony, as it is every year. And the Veterans Committee is actually doing their annual Wreaths Across America, where they put on wreaths at Forest Glades Cemetery, and there's forms available at Town Hall, the library, the senior center, the post office, so you can fill out a form. There's more information online. I'm pretty sure it should be somewhere on our website, but you can donate, make a donation to have wreaths at the cemetery for veterans, which is a really great annual tradition that we have done the last couple of years. Jonathan mentioned the menorah lighting, and I think the one other thing I just wanted to say, as we've talked about it, is the week of Thanksgiving. I just was looking at our town's website, and if you get a chance just to read under the Human Rights Commission, they have a great page about Indigenous People Day, which was last month, but just some really great articles and book readings and resources to just learn a little bit about the Native Americans that lived in Wakefield. So yeah, I just ask everyone to check that out.
Anybody else?
Just in the spirit of Thanksgiving and my departments that I'm a liaison with, I made them tell me updates, but we're doing it next week. So I don't want them. I don't want them to think 2 weeks. I don't want them to think I'm forgetting.
Same.
Yeah,
I was ready to go.
Yes, I was ready to go.
So hold on to it.
But I do, what we're grateful for. It might sound hokey, but I'm very. I think the employees and staff that we have in town are phenomenal, and it starts from the head. So it starts with the culture that Steve has just is a part of in this town, and demands from those who work for him who willingly embrace that culture and show respect for their jobs, for other people. And the collaboration between different departments is phenomenal. And I don't know that every town is like that. And I don't think every town is like that. Do we have our little hiccups here and there? Of course we do. But I just feel like the folks that work, the heads of the departments, and then the employees underneath them really take pride in this town and want to make it the best it can be. So I just am really grateful for those that work here.
Councilor Denny?
And I just have to say, it's like going on to that is, I was thinking about everything that we're grateful for in this town. We have so much, is that if you look at the example of how the town handled COVID from the very beginning, the swift action, I wasn't on the council at the time, but the swift action that you all took to go into action, the commitment that Steve's had. I know that people were really impressed that Steve, our town administrator, was working at that first COVID clinic, and I know people came up to me and said, "Wow, Steve Mayo was actually working there," and that was really, I think that was really important. It set the tone, and the fact that the town delivered masks to everybody, when we didn't have masks, and I think that's just like kind of indicative of how this town operates, both in terms of the leadership of the town and the people in our town, but also the people in this town. I think that there's an evidence by this weekend of everything that went on with the COVID clinic and the cleanup. And then we have Farmers Market, that's another community engagement event. Is that this is a community that we have a lot to be proud of. So I'm grateful to live in this town. And I'm also grateful that Broadway is open and that we don't have the train hordes anymore. So.
Ed, go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I echoed a lot of the sentiments that have already been said. One thing that I am incredibly thankful for is the passion of the people in this town, and that passion shows its itself in many different ways, be it the volunteerism. Over my, I guess, going on 5 years on the council, each year I see more and more people applying to be on committees and boards and commissions, and new names that I hadn't seen before. And it's encouraging. It's really encouraging. People are engaged, and we've had a lot of interesting debates within our community of late, and people have found their voice and they've used it, and I think that that's an important thing for our community. And respecting different viewpoints and recognizing that it makes us all better people when we can learn from each other. I think that that's a huge aspect to our community. And I think also people finding their voices have also helped to make us better leaders, because it gets us thinking, and perhaps thinking in different ways, which is a really important thing. I do want to just remind everyone again that speaking of Broadway and No Train Horns, we have bonus bucks for Broadway, which is an ongoing promotion that continues through at least the end of November, if not longer, if possibly given its success. But it's a great program. We just spend $25 at any of the local restaurants right within the Broadway crossing area, and you submit your receipt, get a $10 gift card that you can then use at any number of eateries, 30 eateries across town, or any of the 3 that are right there. And it just makes a huge impact on those businesses that have really suffered during the closure. And I think the response has been great so far from the community. People are looking for ways to try to help those businesses and just generally support our local Wakefield businesses. So definitely check it out. You can go to Wakefield Linfield Chambers website, which is wakefieldlinfieldchamber.org. You can also just look for them on Facebook, and a huge thanks to Wakefield Cooperative Bank, who was a major force in making that happen. And finally, if you haven't been down Albion Street, I would encourage you to check it out. Progress continues to be made. Keep in mind that in the spring, when the street itself is repaved, and the plantings are coming to life and the hanging plants are up, it'll really be transformative. But even right now, I think you can notice a real improvement there. So that was definitely a team effort, and I appreciate everyone for helping to make that happen. And with that, I'll just wish everyone a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving. I hope you're able to enjoy time with family and friends. Thank you.
I'll just add that there is a bike and pedestrian survey going on online. So if you go to the website, please fill that out. And we've gotten a lot of feedback about needs for more sidewalks. It's not just about bike lanes, though that's certainly part of it. So anybody who has any concerns about walkability or just kind of multimodal, I really encourage people to fill that out. And then I can't find the date, but there's a follow-up meeting in December. It's the same place where you take the survey, but I would encourage people to do that. And I just repeat what everybody said here. I'm just so proud to be able to serve this town and to work with all of you. And I mean, Wakefield's been in the news. It's been a tough year, right? It's been a tough year on everybody, losing Peter, some controversies in town, but just, I think that this is a fundamentally great community to live in and to serve, and I just am so honored. And I just want to do a shout out to WCAT. I think they kept us going through COVID. Their annual meeting is coming up. It's on their website. Again, I can't seem to put my hands on any dates, but that will be a virtual, so you can kind of see all the things that they do. Certainly we see these meetings, but from sports teams to podcasts to local shows, town administrators reports, right? So thank you to WCAT. Very grateful for you as well. Steve, did you want to?
Just want to say a couple things, and
Yep.
Thank you for your kind comments about the town employees. And I got to say, from from our department heads down to our newest employees, what impresses me with them, our employees, is how invested they are in the town. They really want to make a difference and make people's lives better, and we see that on, Saturday. We have, people that don't need to be out there going to numerous events because they care about the town and they want it to do well. And I'm just so impressed with them and so grateful to serve with all of them. And not only that, but a couple of things that they do. We have a town hall giving tree. I don't know if everybody knows this, but the staff does this, and it's for, I guess people can come in and grab something if they want, but it's mainly for the staff. The staff wanted to do it. And we work with the Galvin Middle School, and we collect, gift cards for Shaw's Market Basket, Farmland, gas cards, other Wakefield businesses, and they are all given to Wakefield residents in need. And it's something the town hall staff came to me and said, Steve, we want to do this. Absolutely. I've been doing it for a number of years, so talks about the character of people that work there. And last, if you can put up that picture, WCAT. Last, we talked about how passionate the people are and how wonderful the people are of Wakefield. And a woman called me the other day, and I hope that the picture's up there for the public to see. And she said she had something she wanted to drop off, and I know we can see it here on the, it's up, thank you. I know we can see it here in the studio. So a Ruth Johnston called me, Wakefield citizen, was cleaning out her house and found this picture in her house, and it was a print of what was called the Wiley Boathouse. Our historian here, Tom Mullen, might say something. Later known as the Hills Boathouse, and this is circa 1916, in the area that would be Spalding Playground today.
Oh my.
So this was a print that was a painting, I guess, originally done by Warren John Christopher Prosperi, and it was an actual print that was given out by the Shawmut County Bank. It's stamped on the back. So we're going to frame that. It's in pretty good shape, and we're going to put that in Town Hall for now so people can see it. So talk about how wonderful people are, and this was a lovely woman on the home who's downsizing and moving in with one of her kids and couldn't throw this out and thought the town could use it. So it's
That's nice.
we have a lot of great people like that, and that's what I'm thankful for. So thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Maureen just showed me that the WCAT is December 1st is your annual meeting. Thank you.
December 1st.
Tom, did you want to add anything?
You mentioned walkability, which reminds me of, in terms of being thankful, let me put in a good word for Lake Quannapowitt. My sister and I grew up in Wakefield. She lives now in a beautiful, bucolic town in northern Vermont. It's lovely, but I realize visiting her, it's a loveliness that can only be experienced by car. She can't walk anywhere. The roads don't have sidewalks. They're narrow. You take your life in your hand because of all of the 50-mile-an-hour pickup trucks. We have a little gem of a natural beauty in our midst, and we can walk conveniently around it in 3¼ miles, and it's a beautiful vista from something like 3/4 of the way around. So very fortunate.
We are.
And we're going to work on that quarter.
Absolutely. Okay. Any matters not anticipated for the agenda? No? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Butt, seconded by Counselor Santos. Any discussion? All right, roll call vote. Counselor Dombrowski.
Aye.
Counselor Chines.
Yes.
Counselor Danahy.
Yes.
Counselor Butt.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, Wakefield. We will be back here on December 6th for our December meeting. Thank you and good night.